The thing that makes Stanley so terrifying as a villain is that his motivations are purely individualistic. While seemingly every other villain within Dr. Stone has some greater version of the world they're trying to create, Stanley is fighting for his pre-existing version of the world, that being Zeno. Let's talk about it. Every other villain in Dr. Stone, because of the setup of Dr. Stone, they are fighting for what they want to create out of the world. Tsukasa wants to get rid of these old, established powers. He wants to make a world without these, big assault weapons. He wants to make a world that is free from the corruption of, capitalist society, basically. Hyoga, I'm pretty sure it was, Darwinism, survival of the fittest. He only wanted to revive people that were the prime selections of humanity to create a better world, or at least what he saw as a better world. Zeno, he wanted absolute domination. He did not want limitations on science, on research. He wanted freedom in that sense. But with Stanley, there is no greater reasoning for that. It's not because Stanley himself is in harm's way. It is because he wants Zeno back, because he is that, I don't want to say infatuated, but you're kind of pulling my leg here. His world and his existence revolves around Zeno. That is his core factor. So when everyone else is fighting for these greater, bigger ideals, Stanley is not. Stanley is fighting to get Zeno back so that Zeno can make the world that Zeno wants to make, but it is not about these greater, bigger concepts, and I think that's what makes it so terrifying to watch him as a villain, because it is purely the human desire of love. I've said this before, but at least in my opinion, it makes the story more sensible to view Stanley's feelings for Zeno as romantic because it puts more things into perspective for the average viewer. It's kind of like those action movies you watch where, this big military man, his wife gets kidnapped and oh no, he has to go get her back, and he is the hero of the story. Think about it, all those movies where it's yeah, I'm gonna go take down this ring of smugglers who took my wife. So now you're watching and cheering for these people. These people are attacking this corrupt organization that took the wife or whatever to get her back. It questions the idea of how far would you go for love? What would you be willing to do for your wife? What would you be willing to do for your girlfriend? What would you be willing to do for love? What are the lengths that love will take you to? And in my opinion, that is the direct question that is being asked with Stanley, except we are watching it from the side of the kidnappers. And that's why, you can disagree if you want, but I think it just does make it a little bit more sensical to view it from the angle of romance, because love is a strong thing. And I know people are gonna be like, well, friendships can be strong too. Yes, but there are other factors as to why I'm saying that, it doesn't have to just be the fact that Stanley's going after Zeno, it can also be the fact that they act like that. But anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. Just ignore that one. I just think if you compare Stanley's rationale and behavior to the other characters within Dr. Stone, specifically the other villains within Dr. Stone, it's really interesting to think about what is motivating him, because all of these people are thinking about these greater, bigger ideals, but Stanley is just fighting for Zeno. And no, he's not fighting for Zeno's version of the world. He's not fighting for that. He's fighting for Zeno himself, and we know that because at the end of the conflict in South America, that's why he doesn't shoot the revival fluid, because he knows that they will wake Zeno back up if he does not do that, if they wake up. Shooting the revival fluid would gain their win, but it would also guarantee that Zeno probably would not get woken back up for a continuous amount of years. He would not have that freedom, and Stanley cares so much about Zeno that he was willing to sacrifice himself to be an eternal prisoner in stone so that Zeno could have a life. That is what, it's about Zeno for Stanley. It was never about anything else. And that's why his crimes were so brutal. It truly does put it into a different perspective, which, let me be clear, I'm not defending anything Stanley does. Stanley does some horrible shit, but it just makes, it adds a different level to it if you're viewing it from the angle of love, because you watch so many of these things where these people are portrayed as the heroes. They are portrayed as the good guys because there's something corrupt going on behind the scenes that let them kidnap this woman, but it's in this case, it is a man, and it's an evil, corrupt science leader. But from Stanley's perspective, that is, that's his whole world. Even when, manga spoilers, even when Stanley wakes up, I'm pretty sure it was confirmed by Boichi that this gesture that he was doing, grabbing and touching the face, his first instinct was to make sure that Zeno was okay and safe. That's why he did that, to make sure that it was him, and that that was his first concern after being stuck in stone for 8 years? 9 years? I don't know, I think those two are just very interesting characters, and Stanley's motivations are just they're so interesting, especially when you compare them to the other villains within the series, because it adds this entirely new layer of like human compassion and love as a motivator, as opposed to these greater, world domination-y ideas. It's so interesting to see it just boil down to something that in comparison is a lot more simple. It's, I don't want to say pure, but it's a lot purer in the sense of like, it's love. He's doing it for someone that he loves. Like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Comment your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next one.